Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second debate of the week. And this is about the developmental territory NXT only. It's not about a specific person, well, except for one. Everyone else is debatable. But let's be honest here. Thinking about NXT as an actual promotion is kind of a stretch. But let me paint you a picture. Around 2007, 2008, FCW's been around for a while, but by 2010, nearing 2010, they switched from being FCW to NXT. WWE basically changed them and then created a developmental territory all of their own, because they weren't using OVW like they used to. But when Triple H took over, he really changed the entire product of NXT. And my thought is this: could NXT work on its own as an actual promotion? Well, it depends on one person. I'm going to be honest here. As much as people don't always want to think or hear about it, the best person that could run NXT is the best person who's been running it right now, and that's Triple H himself. Let's paint a picture here. Let's say in the next 2 years, something happens between Vince and Paul that he says to Vince, "Vince, look, I have an idea." He says, "What? What is it, Paul?" "Vince, you did something monumental and groundbreaking. You took your father's company of WWF and you took it over from him, and then you ran with it and you done something with it." And he said, "Yeah, I did. I'm a fucking genius and a fucking god." "Yeah, I know, Vince. But there's something I want to do." I said, "What is it?" "Look, I've been working for you for years. Let me have NXT. Let me break it off, change the name of it. You call it the developmental territory, something else. Let me take the brand of NXT, break off, and start my own company with it. Let me make my own promotion using the NXT brand from this moment on. You know I've been running it for now 5 to 6 years. Let me run it as a real promotion and see where I can go. I will pay you back for the amount of money NXT would generate from the year that I took it. If it's $10 or $20 million or $30 million, I will pay you back." And he says, "Well, your family, any money you make is going to my daughter and grandkids. You got a deal." So Vince gives NXT to Triple H. They tear NXT away. No longer stated in WWE. Let's say WWE calls their new territory EAW or something like that. Doesn't matter. But now they changed it. They're no longer allowed to use the NXT brand. And Paul Levesque now becomes the owner of a promotion that was once affiliated with WWE. Would he have a chance to actually build something from it? Now, this is my feeling about it. I would believe that it would be possible for Paul to actually make NXT a very viable promotion under this respect. Not because of the people he knows. Of course, he knows a lot of people in the business that he can bring in that can either be managers, wrestlers, promoters for extra hands to help him do the job. He can always ask a couple of people like Art Anderson to help him, or Pat Patterson, or he can get Bruno Sammartino, or even Sean can come in as an assistant for him. He can get Big Daddy Cool Diesel, he can get Scott Hall, he can get Jake the Snake Roberts. He can get a lot of people to come in and help him run it, develop it, and train the people he wants. But this is what I believe it comes down to. Will Paul remember that what made wrestling when he was a fan so popular, and what's making the brand popular the way it is now, is the way he's running it? What do I mean by that? Simple. NXT is being run by a guy in a Paul Levesque in a style that's similar to the way it used to be in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. It has that type of feel. It doesn't have a total ECW feel. When I first saw it, when it first really began to develop, it had an ECW type of look. But it gone away from that now. And it feels more of an older 90s type of WWE. Or late 80s, early 90s. It just has this edginess. Something different. You let people really develop their characters the way you really want them to. You give them a proper direction other than what's going on with WWE. If Paul was able to take NXT, which I know is not going to happen, there's no way in blue fuck that Vincent Kennedy McMahon is going to let his brother-in-law take a brand like that off, even if it's not really making huge amounts of money. There's no way he's going to let him do it. He likes to control everything and anything that he has. If it actually does happen, it would be the most best thing that Vince has ever done in all the years he's been in wrestling promotions. But I don't believe that's going to happen. But if it did happen, I do believe that this would be a very great boom for pro wrestling in general. We have very little going in very strong promotions around the world. You tell me, how many strong promotions we have in the countries right now? The head is WWE. A very, very distant now. It's almost at the same level as an ROH is TNA. I mean, let's be honest. WWE's here. TNA was here. Now it's gone down to here. Just below it, right down here, is ROH. And TNA is kind of floating right here. It's not exactly safe. It's dropped considerably since it left Spike. So let's be honest. I love me TNA still. And hearing that it could be going out of business, I don't really have an idea on that. I'm not going to make a video right now until I know what's going on. But when you really look at NXT, the promotion's not the key here of its already done branding. It's been around for 5 to 6 years now. The key of this entire situation is the person running it. Now, I could say that Paul Levesque is a very large step down from a young Vincent Kennedy McMahon. But that's not bad. As much as people believe Paul is not a money grubber, but let's be honest, he's got one hell of a big ass ego right now. But let's be honest, that big ass ego has gotten him very far in the wrestling business. And as much as you don't want to hear it, it's true. If Paul became a manager and he made people work, if Paul runs NXT, which he made it work, if it was an own separate promotion, I do believe he could actually make it work. And make it work well. But it is a big question mark how long it would work. Because eventually when it comes down to it, a lot of people try to compromise. And there's a good chance that Paul will compromise not only to get his friends over, to make sure they got some money, but to make his family happy. And it's going to depend on how much he's willing to sacrifice to accommodate them. But I do believe that Paul might be able to run an actual promotion all by himself and make it work. But this is just my point of view. What's yours, guys? I hope you enjoyed this debate of the week on NXT. Please give me a comment below. I might do a debate of the week on what's going to happen with TNA. But like I said, we don't really know if it's happening or it's not happening. I'm not going to say it's going to happen. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. I'd rather wait and see until more substantial information comes out. I agree with the Sleg Daddy and Off the Rope Show Central. You don't know what's about to happen, so don't bury or defend to the point of cursing the crap out of someone until you have the evidence to prove it. So I hope you enjoy it. Have a good day and have a good night.